How does a trade show help highlight to grow their business? Is there, are there solid things that you go to a trade show saying, okay, this is something I need to do this year?
Well, my product doesn't lend itself to having a booth and to sampling out the way Michael's does. So the way we've gotten around that over the years is by sponsoring competitions.
Interesting.
So last year, for instance, we partnered with Garland and with Nella Cutlery, and we had 12 weeks of competitions leading up to the trade show, where we had 3 days of the semifinals and the finals. And it was chefs who had competed from all across Canada. And one of the guys from Montreal won $5,000, yay.
Nice.
But what it meant for Highlight was that a lot of chefs could actually work with our product, see our product.
Yeah.
We were highlighted as a sponsor. So, the presenter, when she was rolling off the names, was mentioning Highlight. And it gave me an opportunity not only to connect with those chefs who were competing, but to connect with their mentors, the people that were coaching them
Yeah.
along. And by the end of the show last year, I had developed some really solid leads that just kind of evaporated once COVID hit, unfortunately. But I could
Yeah.
really see how a couple of years of doing this was really starting to show some results. So that's how we've approached it, is by, putting our product in the hands of chefs who are going to be working with it.
That's so interesting, right? Because you think of walking the show, you think of having a booth at the show, but there are these other opportunities to get
Mhm.
involved as a sponsor or as somebody who's participating in a contest, and all of those things can elevate your visibility and create interesting ways for you to interact. Mike, now you take a completely different approach. You sometimes have the biggest booth on the floor. I've seen you with just half a dozen people in your booth working. What makes that investment of time and I just can't even imagine the logistics of moving all those hams and cockles to one place to the other for 3 days?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's what we're trying to do is create a story, create an experience. It's not that far of what Lynn mentioned, is finding synergies. So what we try to do is create a venue. In our case, of generally it's depending on the theme, but the last few years it's been a Basque bar, and so you get to try 3 or 4 different styles of hams. You get a sense from people coming to the booth of what it's like to be in Spain. And that's what we're trying to do, is either make people recall back to when they went to San Sebastian and went to the tapas bars and the pincho bars, and create a memory so that when they leave, it's like, yeah, this is great, but also create an idea of how they can merchandise the product in a way that's it draws them in and they're compelled to buy and put something together. So I think it just comes down to creating experience for the customer, and then that creates the opportunity to give them the idea of what they can do in their store or in their restaurant.